Okay, ladies and gentlemen, what we're looking at here in section 1.4, 1033 lesson plans. The first set of questions that we're looking at basically describes a situation and asks us to turn it into take the words and create a formula. So the first one, for example, find the area A of a square if one side of the square has length x. Well, remember, to find an area of a square, basically to find an area of a rectangle, you multiply the length times the width. So for a square, if one side has length x, the other side has length x. So x times x would be x squared. And since A represents the area, A equals x squared, and that's our formula. In the next question, what we're being asked to do is it sounds a little strange. Determine the number of seconds y in x hours. Now the easiest way to do that problem is to start off with 1 hour. And if I asked you to think about an hour and tell me how many seconds there were in 1 hour, I would hope what you would do is multiply 60 by 60. And the reason? 60 minutes in 1 hour and 60 seconds per each minute. So that tells me that there are 3,600 seconds in 1 hour. In this particular formula, I'm talking about x hours, so I take 3,600, which would be the number of seconds in 1 hour, and I multiply by x. And that gives me my formula, y equals 3,600 times x. Alright, let's scroll down a little bit here. Okay, find a formula that converts x miles into y feet. So in other words, y is the answer. That's how many feet we have. And we do this pretty similarly to the way we did the last problem. There are, and it's a fact that we need to remember, here we go, there are 5,280 feet in 1 mile. Well, in this particular formula, we're talking about x miles. So we take 5,280, multiply by x, and that gives me y, the number of feet in x miles. Formula for the area of a triangle. Base. The length of the base is represented by b. The height of the triangle is represented by h. A mathematical formula that you need to know. Area of a triangle is always 1/2 base times height. Another way to write it is area equals base times height over 2. A very good way to picture that. What I'd like you to do for right now is I'd like you to imagine an entire rectangle. Pretend that the bottom length of the rectangle, we'll call that the base, is b, and pretend that the side going up from the base has length h, we'll call that the height. The area of that entire rectangle would be b times h. If you took half of that away by cutting it with a diagonal, you would be left with a triangle. So that's how they get the 1/2 in this formula. 1/2 base times height. A equals 1/2 base times height is a formula you do need to commit to memory. Alright, let's look at the next screen. Okay. Find the area of a circle whose radius has length 3 feet. Give an exact answer and state the answer using the correct units. The first thing you need to remember is area of a circle is found by using the formula pi r squared. So that's step 1. Step 2, let's replace r with 3 since that's given. 3 squared, of course, becomes 9. So my answer is 9 times pi. And the correct units would be square feet. Whenever you're measuring area of any object, you're dealing with square units. Volume you're dealing with cubic units, so you need to make that distinction. One confusion sometimes that my students have is right here, they want to immediately go to a calculator and put in 3.14 for pi. Well, here's a problem with that. If you'll notice the directions in the problem, the directions say to give the exact answer. 3.14 is not exactly equal to pi. 3.14 is an approximation for pi. And another thing on Course Compass, when you're trying to actually do an approximation with pi, it's best to use the pi button on your calculator to get the correct answer when they do say to approximate. But in this problem, 9 pi square feet is the correct answer, and it's exact. We did not have to go to a calculator when it says give the exact answer. In fact, we shouldn't. All right, here's a similar type problem, but with a different formula. Find the circumference of a circle whose radius has length 10 feet. Give an exact answer. Again, meaning don't punch your way to happiness on a calculator with pi. So, first thing you need to know, circumference. If you're measuring your way around a circle, C equals 2 times pi times r. In this case, we're told to put in a 10 for r. 2 times pi, well actually 2 times 10 is 20. 20 times pi is 20 pi, and the answer here is measured in feet, because remember, when you're walking around a circle and the units here are feet, you're just answering in feet. Again, 20 pi is the correct answer. You should not use a calculator because the directions said to give an exact answer. Okay? All right. All right. Okay, evaluate the following formula given a value of the variable. I'm going to go ahead and stop this segment and pick this up on the next video. So I'm going to end right now. This will be the end of 1.4 part 1.